So guys, we need to talk. And I know that what I'm about to talk about is probably going to make some of you mad, but what else is new, honestly? My question is, are we really okay with the way girls are dressing these days? Let's get into it. Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. If you are new here, welcome. I appreciate you clicking on the video to watch it. Make sure that you are subscribed. Be sure to hit that like button. And of course, anybody that's returning, you know that I truly appreciate you. Everybody needs to make sure that their notifications are turned on so that you never miss out on a conversation like the one we're about to have. So there is something that I want to talk about today, and primarily it's about the teeny tiny homecoming dresses that some of these young girls are wearing these days. It has been on my mind for a few weeks, and it was inspired by this particular TikTok video of this mom who had the same questions that I do. So let's have a look at that just to kick the conversation off.
These days, I'm looking at homecoming pictures online. My boys went to homecoming this past weekend too. And so I'm looking at everybody's pictures on Facebook. And these dresses are teeny tiny. And all of these girls, it's like they all bought the same dress in different colors. And they're all ace bandages. That's all these dresses are. Like they start here and they go like 17 inches lower. And their whole titties are hanging out. And their butts hanging out. And I don't know. Like, I'm glad I don't have a girl in high school right now, because I know my husband and I would fight over what she was and wasn't going to leave the house in. I had such a bad, like, body image of myself. I would never, ever have put that dress on. And I was tiny back in high school, but I still, like, I wasn't going to show myself like that. I didn't have the self-esteem, I guess. But these girls love their hearts. Like, they are confident.
So I appreciate this mom bringing this subject to the forefront. I have had questions for a long time about the outfits that are being promoted to young girls. And I say promoted because these girls are going to buy what's in style, and clothing manufacturers are going to continue to produce things that are popular with their target demographic. But the clothing that is being marketed toward girls today of all ages, from infancy all up to adulthood, I find it all problematic. But I mean, I do primarily want to talk about homecoming dresses, but it really isn't just this specific item. This is something that I think is an issue across the entire spectrum of fashion involving all ages. We see girls in crop tops and tiny shorts, and they're showing off everything they have just to go to school or just to go to the store. And it really has me worried about the direction that girls are being pushed in from a very young age. And the influence is coming from everywhere, from their toys to entertainment to celebrities. I mean, I've seen dolls in belly shirts. I've seen little girls' boutique outfits that have these crop tops and tiny shorts. And it's just completely wild to me. And don't even get me started on what celebrities wear. So it's just no wonder to me that girls are dressing this way when these are the standards that are being thrown at them from all directions. As most schools have held their homecoming events over the last few weeks, the dresses that these girls are wearing to these events has been a hot topic across social media. And a lot of people are wondering what the heck is going on. Most of these dresses are strapless. Most of them start like about here, if that, and they go down to just below their butt. And that's it. And these girls we're talking about are 13, 14 years old. And I am going to show you what I mean. I did find a couple of clips on TikTok of these girls showing off their dresses. They are minors, so I'm going to have my editor blur their faces. And I just want to make it clear, I'm not shaming these girls. I am not trying to say anything negative about them. They are beautiful. They are wonderful. I have nothing against them or their parents. I am simply using them as an example to show you what I mean for this trend. So let's have a look real quick.
Yeah! That's Mom's dress!
Oh, this filthy thing?
She was gonna wear that tonight and you ruined it.
Honey, it was ruined when she bought it.
Yeah.
Choosing that way to wear that dress. Oh, kiss me beneath the milky twilight. Leave me.
So my first question is, am I the only person that sees a problem with this? Because not only do I not think it's appropriate, I'm just struggling to understand why it's necessary. What is the purpose behind allowing our daughters to dress this way? Because obviously, is it fashionable? Is it trendy? Because if that's the only logic, then it stands to reason that we could easily dictate a different trend where dresses are a little bit longer and cover up a little bit more. So I do think we need to evaluate why we go along with these things. And I think there are a few reasons. reasons. First, I think that too many parents in today's society are allowing the world to tell them what their child should have. And too many parents are too afraid of their child not fitting in, which makes them afraid to say no. And I actually did find another TikTok video of a woman who had taken her 15-year-old sister shopping to purchase a dress, and she had a situation that demonstrated this exact point.
I took my 15-year-old sister homecoming dress shopping this past weekend at our local Dillard's, and there were so many girls there and so little dresses. And I don't mean few, I mean little dresses, barely covering anything. Now, I'm all for body positivity and all of those good things. And I'm not one of these that thinks that you at 13, 14, 15 years old should have to wear like a potato sack to your ankles. But like, where are we drawing the line, moms? Where are we at? Because the things that I witnessed go down, I'm not ready. And my daughter's only 6. I watched a little girl come out of a dressing room, come around the corner to show her mom. And granted, all of us moms that saw it, you could see the look on all of our faces of, oh, your mom is about to shoot you down, girl. Ain't no way. Ain't no way she's about to let you wear this. And sure enough, she comes around the corner and mom's like, are you kidding me? I mean, we're all watching. Like, this wasn't some like private moment. She's right in the middle of all of us moms and sisters and whatnot waiting for people to come out. She then tells her daughter, turn around, let me see the back of this. As daughter turns around, she said, honey, you are 14 years old. You cannot even walk up the bleachers in this dress because it is so tight and so short. Of course, you know, her daughter being a teenager was like, but mom, so-and-so let her daughter get a dress just like this. And, you know, she's strict. Sorry, I have a sick baby day. So I'm over here in the corner. I was like, stand your ground, mama. There ain't no way so-and-so's mama let her wear a dress like that. But guess what? They left her that dress. And I guess the part that blew my mind the most was like the mom acknowledged you're not going to be able to walk up the bleachers in that dress, but then still bought it. Like, it's not like she was blinded to that fact or didn't think about it. So where do we draw the line with these 13 and 14-year-olds that are like wanting to wear like near nothing? I've got 10 years to figure this out. And I'm already stressing.
And I think I was just completely baffled by that story because the mom clearly had a problem with the dress and what her daughter was wearing, but she demonstrated the points that I just made. She was worried about her daughter not fitting in. She was worried about saying no. She was maybe worried about her daughter standing out from her friends. And ultimately, she let her daughter dictate the rules in that situation. That's just something that doesn't register with me because, I mean, I would have said, your friend is not my daughter. That is not my concern. You are my concern. And, you know, I'm the one that we set the standards here, not them. But I think it's important to understand that teenagers are capable of accepting standards when we do set them for them, as demonstrated by this young lady.
I keep seeing girls post their homecoming dresses, and I'm like, what the hell? My mother, my father would never let me wear a dress that short to a high school dance. Like, never.
And I think that that young lady understands that her parents mean business. And I'm not saying that girls need to be covered up to their chin and then down to their wrists and ankles. I'm not judging any parent that sets a standard that they are comfortable with. But my question is, are parents setting the standard or are their teenagers setting the standard? Is the world setting the standard and parents are just along for the ride? And I know a lot of people are probably going to think that I'm being really judgy right now, but I promise I'm not. I'm just trying to have a conversation about something that I think is important because I did post this question on my Facebook page, fully expecting for moms to be like, stop judging, mind your own business. But a lot of people felt the same way that I do. So my question is, why does this keep happening if there are so many parents that are on the same page? To me, that is an indicator that not a lot of parents are in control. And again, we're letting the teenagers and we're letting the world decide for us what is acceptable. And that is a problem and something we are fully capable of changing. Interestingly, after the discussion about homecoming dresses, when it came to the high school events, this subject reemerged on my TikTok timeline when a HBCU event took place, and a lot of people had the same questions about their daughters that are in college now.
I saw more ass on the yard at my homecoming than I've ever seen at Blue Flame and Magic City together. The way this generation dresses, it's like, yeah, I'm for my body. I represent for my body. I have full body autonomy, but I look like a stank ass hoe. Yes. There's a difference of having full body autonomy than looking stank. and y'all look stank.
So I think what she was referring to is apparently there's this bubble skirt trend that doesn't really work for you if you have somewhat of a figure, but I am just going to leave that one there. But it's just something that a lot of women have a lot of questions about. But I do think there are a few different mindsets that would be helpful for us to work on if we want to solve this problem. But of course, obviously, only if you think this is a problem that needs to be solved. If you think the standards are fine, if you are totally fine with how things are, then these comments aren't going to apply to you, and that is totally fine. But the first thing I think we need to address is we need to stop viewing modesty as a bad thing, because I do think that the word modesty does have all of these negative connotations associated with it. Like, it means that we're trying to oppress women. It means that we're trying to control women. It means that we need to be modest so that men don't look at us a certain way. We have to be modest so that men can control themselves. We have to be modest so that we don't get treated a certain way. And all of those messages associated with modesty has made it feel like women need to reject modesty in order to have the opposite of those things, in order to feel like they're in control of their bodies and in control of their image. But by contrast, dressing however you want to dress and showing everything is now associated with a sign of liberation, and it's a sign of you being the one in control. But I don't think that that's true at all, because I don't think that a lot of women dress this way because they genuinely think that it's cute or they're genuinely comfortable in these outfits. I think they do it because the world has told them that this is how you feel liberated. This is how you demonstrate confidence, and this is how you feel seen. If you're wearing the latest trends, then you're the first to get attention, and that somehow is a positive thing. And with that mindset, women still aren't making decisions based on what they truly believe. They're making decisions based on standards that have been set for them by society, whether it accurately depicts who they are as a person or not, or whether they actually feel comfortable wearing these things, if that makes sense. Ultimately, girls and all kids and all young people need to decide who they are and know who they are beforehand, and the trends and the clothing and the outfits and the image comes after, not the other way around. Secondly, regarding this whole conversation about how men perceive women, I think that we need to stop telling girls that the reason they need to cover up is so men don't look at them. I grew up in a religious, conservative household, and my parents definitely set standards for me about the things that I was and was not allowed to wear. And they weren't crazy strict about it or anything, but they didn't care what my friends were wearing. They didn't care what the standards were in other households, and they definitely didn't care about what the trends were. Their sole concern was for me and the values that they instilled in me, and everything else followed. But even with the rules that I grew up with, it was never in my head that I had to be modest or that modesty was important because of how guys looked at me or how I didn't want them to look at me, or because I was trying to avoid certain kinds of attention. It was always about treating my body with respect, setting a higher standard for myself, and not wavering no matter what was going on around me. And I think that instilling that kind of belief system in our kids is going to be important in so many aspects that have nothing to do with clothing, because as we are seeing the things that the world is normalizing, there are so many things that are not doing our kids and our teenagers and our young adults any favors. I think ultimately we just need to instill the belief system in kids that they decide who they are, they dictate who they are, and that's what matters. But when it comes to this idea of how boys view girls and men view women, I thought that this particular video had an interesting take that we need to touch on when it comes to this discussion.
Coming season, right? So all over my Facebook feed, including, my own daughter's pictures, I have seen the homecoming dresses for this year, which are, a little shorter than what we used to wear back when I was in high school and, years before that. But this video is not going where you think it's going. Listen, I'll be the first person to say I was like, ugh, when I saw my daughter in her dress. But then I sat and thought about it. Seeing the comments from moms and dads talking about their sons, not being able to focus or pay attention because of what these girls are wearing and, how these girls are asking for it and all of this stuff make me sick. Instead of going on someone else's post and telling them that their daughter is asking for it, how about you teach your sons to respect women regardless of what they're wearing and to control what's in their pants? Because as long as my daughter is acting like a lady, sitting like a lady, and respecting herself, I don't give what she's wearing. Tell your son to leave it alone.
Now, I do agree, obviously, that whatever a girl wears, that doesn't diminish the fact that she deserves to be respected. And it's never an invitation for a guy to belittle her or to be disrespectful, either verbally or physically. I have 2 boys and I am raising them to respect women regardless of the situation. So I am fully on board with that. But my question is, why does it always fall on guys to be the ones in control of themselves and that they're the ones that just constantly have to deal with it? I just have this problem with the idea that girls and women are always allowed to do whatever they want without any accountability, without any responsibility, and they play no role in the standards that are set when it comes to respect in society. I think that we need to expect both girls and boys, men and women, to set a higher standard and to respect themselves and to respect each other. Just a thought. Lastly, we do need to acknowledge that the way our girls dress does not start in high school, and it doesn't start with a homecoming event. They don't just wake up one day and these young women are suddenly comfortable with showing off everything that they have. This is what our girls are conditioned to think is normal. And honestly, I think that moms are a huge part of the problem. We see something trendy and we automatically think that that's what our kid needs to have in order to be accepted, that they need to wear in order to make friends or to be seen or to feel beautiful. And I honestly think that this problem with how moms dress their daughters really demonstrated that point.
How I dress my daughter versus her dad.
Put out the pink Lamborghini, just a race with China. What the race to China? Just a race in China. No dad.
So you guys tell me which outfit you thought was cuter on this little girl, because I am just dying over the sweater and the little shorts. But I think that a lot of us women really need to evaluate how we approach these things with our kids. And as I said, I am not judging anybody. I am just opening this up as a topic for conversation. I do not run around judging other people's kids and judging other people's daughters. I'm not perfect. I'm not setting standards for anybody else. I have a daughter. She's only 8 years old, but these are things that we talk about now because I know that this is eventually going to be an issue, and I don't want to address it when we're flying in the face of her trying to pick a dress where she wants to feel like she matches her friends and that she doesn't stand out too much. But at the same time, when we do have discussions about clothing and modesty, I never make it about boys and I never make it about what her friends are wearing. We discuss who she wants to be as a person and how she wants to portray herself, and also that she doesn't have to wear what her friends are wearing and she doesn't have to wear something just because it's what's popular. I want her to feel beautiful because of who she is and never base that on her clothing or her outfits. And I never want her value to be based on those things. And I definitely don't want her to ever feel like she has to show her belly or her butt in order to feel beautiful. And honestly, in the world that she is growing up in now, I have never wanted my daughter to stand out more in a crowd than I do right now, because from what I can tell, if she covers herself up even a little bit, she's going to stand out from everybody else. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if we do want to solve this problem, I think the solution might just be to let dads take their daughters shopping for their homecoming dresses and for their outfits in general. And I think this problem would resolve itself pretty quickly. But I would love to hear all of your thoughts on this in the comments below. Please be sure to hit that like button. Make sure that you are subscribed. Keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one.